know.
I know, yeah, I'm really sorry. I mean, you can wear some if you want. I've got like a couple more, but I didn't want to be like 3 headphones for 4 people. Who's going to be the odd one out, you know?
Yeah.
No, there's massive earrings in anyway, so just stab me inside the...
Okay, so today we've got Adam Purnell joining us, the Shropshire Lad, and we're really excited, aren't we? We've been talking about this for such a long time.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you for joining us on the Shrewsbury Biscuit. Before we start getting into it, I want to give a shout out to our sponsors at Gin Different. Are you a gin guy? Do you like your gin?
Oh, I love gin. And Darren as well, bless him. Yeah, I love gin. I love, all booze, really.
Make sure you check out his bar, which is at the top of the market hall, and they've got, what's it, pop-up shop?
He's got pop-up shop as well, where we do festivals and weddings, all sorts, whatever people want.
Make sure you give him a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and go and have a drink there. It's quite a cool place. So we got the Shropshire Lad on today. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I bet it's been crazy for you, hasn't it, since the show?
It's been busy. I mean, I'm busy anyway all the time, just because obviously I work full time as well as sort of doing a lot of cooking and different events and things. January was meant to be quiet. And the show meant that it hasn't been. But it's been good. Seems to have been a nice response. And it's been good.
Fantastic. Let's find out a bit about you first. Before the show, before this all happened, what do you do for a living? I mean, we know, but for the show, what do you do?
My full-time day job, I'm the youth work manager for Shrewsbury Town Council. So I run a variety of different open access youth work projects across Shrewsbury. We have a detached team who out and work on the streets with young people. We've recently just set up a alternative curriculum which schools can refer young people to who might be struggling a little bit, might be at risk of being excluded, so that we give them a bit of respite from school. But also sometimes they need a bit of a role model, a bit of
someone
sort
to
of
listen
guidance.
to.
And just sort of try and help them through that. But I think the nice thing about that part of the project is that if they do get excluded from school, then in that gap between finding new provision, they continue to work with us. And often that they can be quite vulnerable, really, in that period of time. And so, we can try and bridge that gap. So it's nice work. Yeah, I enjoy it.
We had Ben Butler on a few shows ago.
About a month ago,
New
wasn't
generation coaching.
He's doing such great things. He rang me up last week. He was like, I just wanted to chat. And then we were chatting for ages. He's a good guy, really good guy.
I must finish his stone for him.
Okay, so how did you get into cooking then? Have you all been cooking all your life?
Just greedy, really, like eating. I mean, I've just always loved eating and food, and I mean, my dad's a great cook, and when I was growing up, the kitchen was full of good ingredients, and it was a nice place to work. He was also a youth worker, actually, when I was quite young, and which meant even working a lot of evenings. And so the kitchen was free, and I was hungry, so I'd just start. As soon as I could sort of reach the top of the stove, I was making stuff and experimenting and playing around. And it's just gone from there, really.
And is this something that you think is great to encourage young people to learn how to cook and to look after yourself? So
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think part of my job is to inspire young people to do, to find their own passions, and not all of them are going to be into cooking. Of course they're not, but most of them like eating, so it's always a good thing. I mean, sometimes we do, when I talk about detached work, which is when we work out on the streets, it's quite difficult to engage with young people. Just walking up to a crowd of young people who are hanging out in a park or something, you need something to engage them. So if you can whip out a gas stove and a frying pan and a bit of batter and start making pancakes, soon enough you've got a crowd, and you can start chatting and build relationships. And I think cooking and eating, especially eating outside like that, is a great way of pulling people together, and I'm very social. And so
it's quite a big social activity, isn't it, eating? Totally. When you hang out with your friends, you're always eating, aren't you?
Since we were cavemen, sitting around a fire and eating food together is part of society.
It's primal, and it's it's a necessity as well. And I guess it's something you can practice every single day. There's not many hobbies where you can say, there's usually an opportunity I mean, even as busy as I am, I'll find an opportunity to cook something every day.
How is it like Christmas and things? Like, does the responsibility
Do you go on
fall onto your
strike,
shoulders?
or do they all like come to yours?
Well, my old man this year, because I had a particularly busy end of 2019, and he was like, "I'm doing Christmas dinner this year. You know, you can chill." And then I ended up doing half of it, like because I didn't want to leave it. You know, I want to put my stamp on it. And but I say I don't need a break because it is my my respite as well. Sometimes I'll get in from work at 9 o'clock at night and I still spend an hour cooking. You know? A lot of people don't want to do that, but for me, that's my wind.
But if that's your relaxation mode,
sense, isn't
it? Yeah.
It's like, sorry, Julie. I was just going to say, I've been famously on the Shrewsbury Biscuit, been doing the keto diet since January.
Oh, here we go.
No, what I wanted to say, this is the right show for it. What are you on about? It's got me so inventive in the kitchen. I'm trying new things. I'm like folding like Philadelphia into chicken and wrapping it in bacon and doing the sort of things I wouldn't normally do. Usually it's like chuck a pizza in the oven, you know. I'm totally lazy like that.
Being given a brief is one of the best things for creativity, I think. Like if you're just given a completely blank canvas, it's hard to get your brain working. Whereas if someone says, right, you've got to remove dairy or you've got to remove carbs or, you know, do whatever.
Carbs is a difficult one. Carbs my favourite flavour. Anything carb-based.
It's in so much stuff though, isn't it? Because traditionally we're probably all used to like that, you know, the meat, 2 veg, and then what potatoes or whatever else is chucked on, all that starchy stuff, and even all your pasta dishes, all of that, everything is all of that carb, isn't it? If you have soup, traditionally you're going to have a bit of bread with it. So it is to cut all of that out.
Mm-hmm. We had a few failed experiments. We tried to make aubergine chips. Just cut some slices of aubergine. And they were the most greasy, horrible looking.
They're a bit wet probably to turn into chips.
That was a failed experiment. But we're trying, and that's the important thing, you know. And it's working.
I did veganuary myself. So, and that was... partly because I looked at my Instagram top 9 and saw how much meat I'd eaten in the last year. I was like, whoa, maybe I need to slow down a little bit.
Did you find it quite hard at the start when you were getting into it, or? You
know what? The second I decided, which was I think it was about the 28th or something of December. Yeah. My brain was already in overload of what am I going to cook, and it was great because it just all of a sudden I had all these things, all these ideas, and my food brain never ever stops. I'm just constantly thinking about dishes.
Where'd you get your ideas from then?
I just get you get inspired by things that you see, things that you taste, briefs. You know, if somebody says to you, like, you know, if you're thinking about veganuary, for example, I straight away I was sort of thinking, what am I going to miss? And then how can I substitute that? What could I try? You know, and the internet is a wonderful thing. You know, I use Instagram all the time for inspiration. There's lots of people I follow and things I see, and then, you know, I don't like to necessarily copy anything directly, hardly ever. I don't remember the last time I followed a recipe.
Oh, but it's inspiration though, isn't it? So,
I mean, I've got, you know, hundreds of cookbooks, and I flick through them and take little bits from dishes, and you know, you find it, if you're interested, really passionate and interested about something, then you find ideas and you find creativity.
Do you have a favourite chef then, on the basis of, like, if you've got lots of cookbooks, is there a chef you've always sort of like, you know, looked up to or has inspired you for different reasons?
I was going to say, do you not say
the old fat duck and his weird and wonderful recipes?
No, well, I think my all-time favourite is Keith Floyd.
Oh, he always had a glass of wine, didn't he?
Yeah, well, a bit like me, really. But also very slapdash and kind of throw it together, and it was always very rustic and sharing.
That's right.
And you know, and he likes to travel and try things. And I just found him extremely entertaining.
I used to love his shows because he'd just be like, whip out a barbecue and be like, let's cook on here, let's cook here, let's do it here.
That was brilliant. I mean, he's my all-time favourite, 100%. But then, like, Rick Stein.
I love Rick Stein.
And same team who sort of did most of Keith Floyd stuff now do Rick Stein's.
I like the hairy bikers.
Actually, you can see that thinking about it, because it's got that same sort of style, hasn't it?
Yeah, totally, yeah. But I think that he's very good at, like, just making something... just the simplicity, and you know, I've taken so much inspiration from him. Jamie Oliver, man, I think he gets a real bad rap, but like, I still watch him all the time. Every time I watch him, I'm like, wow, man, why don't I think of that? He's
especially when you go right back to the very original one, you know, like obviously the Naked Chef, the very first one.
He's a spotty little teenager.
Literally, wasn't he just driving around his little scooter? But
Dancing in the Moonlight.
The Rick Stein's ones, one of my favourite books of his is his Far Eastern Odyssey.
Yeah.
Because obviously all the sauces, they're all in the back, aren't they? And you make everything from scratch by just blitzing it all up. And it's the first time I started, instead of buying jars of like Thai green curry or Balinese sauce or whatever, I ended up making them all and phenomenal. I ended up just doing loads and constantly freezing them.
Right.
Because the flavour from, all right, some of the ingredients might be a little bit hard to source. Though, actually, having said that, we've got quite a lot of sort of like we've got next door, haven't we?
Yeah.
Japanese one
Set on a car, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going there when I leave here.
Yeah, you should. She's got some awesome stuff in there. Awesome stuff. So, yeah, so it's easier to find some of the more, what used to be, I suppose, quite unusual ingredients. And like you say, do something with it and try something different. But I do follow recipe books all the time. I haven't quite got the guts to just have a go.
Yeah, I know. It's phenomenal the amount of people that message me for recipes, and I never really give them a proper one back. It's sort of because I want them to play around and experiment, you know, and I sort of say, you try a bit of this, and I never give. Even when at the moment, going back to my day job, I run a family cooking class.
Cool.
Where we get sort of 5 families, and they do a series of 5 cooking sessions, and then the 6th one is like an old school ready steady cook, where I just bring a load of stuff from the Shrewsbury Food Hub, and we just create something, because they hopefully have built their confidence in how to do a few basics, like we show them how to make a basic bread dough, how to make a good pasta sauce, all that kind of thing, and then they create something out of that, and then after that we run a community meal at the Grange Community Centre.
Okay.
Which they can invite their friends and family along to, and that's nice, you know. It's
and even if you did want to follow some sort of recipe or something, we've got the world of information right now. There's always a recipe there.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. But when I'm teaching these families, I'd never ever say it's a teaspoon of salt. It's this. It's that. It's follow your nose, taste.
Yeah.
You know, feel, because if you can't build your confidence by just trying stuff and realizing it's okay to not get it right sometimes. I mean, the amount of bad meals I've served at home because I'm playing around.
So with these family sort of meals that you do then, how do you advertise them, or do you get approached by sort of different, like, you know, elements of social services, or how do they come about?
I'm obviously, I'm part of a big multi-agency team anyway, and so there are generally families who other professionals I work with recommend, or might be families of young people who I already work with, and we just sort of cherry pick people really, because I can't offer it to the masses, because we've probably only got 6 spaces, and I want it to go to people who are really going to sort of benefit from it.
Sure.
So
the whole idea of a ready steady cook kind of thing going on, that sounds really good fun. Or is it just because I'm crazy?
No,
I would love something like that, like the stress of it. I'd just be like,
it's good old Ainsley days, isn't it? That one?
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I mean, it's good because you just put, if you try to do that on the first session, if you put all those ingredients in front of them, I guarantee you none of them would be able to come up with what they come up with by the time you finish 5-6 weeks later. And they're, so
it gives them the confidence in themselves, doesn't it? Like when they create something like that. Isn't it? It's like, I am capable of doing stuff like this. Isn't it? Yeah.
And it also means that it brings a bit more sort of independence, because it's not me saying, right, do this and then do this and then do this. It's like, well, I would try this, so go away and do that, and then I'm going to go and see what these guys are doing, and so I dip in and out, but I let them just
get on with it.
And we haven't had any disasters yet, so.
I was going to say, you must be a very good teacher, because I tried to teach my friends how to make a choux pastry once. I'm not going to ask them to do it again. It was painful.
Choux pastry though.
I love making a good choux pastry.
We'll talk about choux pastry, I'm sure, in a little while. Because that was a pain in my life recently.
So how did it go from like experimenting with cooking to being on TV? How did that happen?
It's a bit weird. Well, I basically got a message about 12 months ago. I got a message through my Instagram from somebody saying that she was like a casting producer for a new TV show that hadn't been commissioned. She couldn't tell me which channels it was going to be on or really what it was going to be about, but it suited my cooking style. Would I be interested? And I said, well, maybe. And she said, well, will you do a Skype interview? So I did a Skype interview with her, and then didn't hear anything back for, well, I think about 10 months or something. Wow. I just forgot all about it. And then a new person contacted me and basically said, right, do you remember when you did that? I said, yeah, it was a long time ago now. Well, the show's been commissioned. that casting director's now gone. It's a new production company. We've just been going through her notes and we found you. Will you give us another Skype interview? Sorry, we've never done one, but we haven't got that. Do another one. So I did that. And then the same day they rang me back and just said, we want you. Will you come to London? So we've seen you face to face, but you're on if you want it. And I was just like, wow. Because I found out that, a lot of the other contestants who I now sort of chat to through a WhatsApp group, a lot of them actually auditioned, and I didn't even know the auditions were going on. So I don't know whether there was a gap or whether they did. Maybe they didn't.
They still found you, though, didn't they?
Yeah. They didn't. They obviously either didn't cast enough people from the auditions, or somebody dropped out last minute. I don't know, but I was just slid in there, and so from 3 weeks of that conversation, I was there in Elstree Studios.
When was it filmed? Because obviously it only came out last month, didn't it?
Yeah, end of October. It was.
Oh, so that's quite quick then.
Yeah. So did you have to do it really hush-hush?
Yeah, I wasn't really allowed to say too much. They told me, when I was allowed to advertise.
No selfies on Instagram and nothing like that?
No, we were supposed to have cameras on set, but I managed to sneak a few photos out. But it was all... had to be,
no checking in your location on Facebook, none of that.
Secret location.
Yeah.
Was that garden? Because if you haven't seen the show, it's Crazy Delicious on Channel 4. It's on 4 OD. Is it 4D or all 4? All 4.
It's all 4 now.
It's all 4. Check it out. But they advertise this garden where she's like, the host is eating like candles and things she's picked up and teacups and stuff. Like, was it like that? Could you literally just pick anything up or was it just like a
probably
gimmick?
Not anything, I tried to chew the worktop and that was a worktop. But like it was a lot of it was edible, even like the pebbles and stuff. But also when they say it's an edible set, that it meant that there was 197 different plants that were in there that were edible, So obviously there was real soil. You couldn't eat the soil because those plants really needed to grow. But the blossom on the trees, it was.
But that's
mostly
Willy Wonka.
I think. I mean, the description I think is Willy Wonka meets MasterChef was the description.
And obviously because Heston Blumentine was there, wasn't he? And obviously with that, it's got to be a little bit wacky, hasn't it? You can't have it.
It was very Heston.
Mediocre with him there, can you?
Because you do foraging, don't you, as well a bit?
I mean, a little bit, yeah. I don't know what a lot of people seem to think this.
Really.
I got asked to do some foraging for Radio Shropshire last week.
I think that might be where it's
and
from.
I was thinking, it's January. Do you know what I mean? Like, what are we going to find in January? But we did manage to find a couple of jelly ear mushrooms, and we found some wild garlic and made a little miso soup. So I managed to pull it off somehow.
Yeah.
But I like to do some foraging. But I have got a guy who I followed and then just become a friend. Forager's Trail on Instagram. He's worth checking out if you're into that kind of thing. He's only a young lad and absolutely full of knowledge and so October, sort of September, October time is about the best time and I'm out with him, learning from him really. But things like mushrooms, you've got to be really careful.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. Is it true? Because my other half years ago did one of these SAS survival weekends,
right,
where they showed you how to gut a rabbit and.
Oh, I've done that. Yeah.
But with the mushrooms as well. And he was saying about on the fin, I'll call them fins. I don't know what they're called, but
gills.
Scrape a key. Thank you. Yeah. Scrape a key or something metal along the back, and if they turn like black, then they. No, is it they are good or they aren't good?
I wouldn't even use that if I were you.
No,
sorry, man. But
that's fine then. I've never done it.
I wouldn't eat any. I mean, there's certain things like those jelly ears that I picked the other day. There's virtually no other fungi at this time of year.
Right.
These are completely, distinguishable. There's nothing else that looks like them. They only grow on dying elder.
Right.
So they're quite easy to find. But some of the, things that you might think is a sep or, I don't know. There's lots of different mushrooms there, but they look similar to other ones. And I'm not comfortable picking them really.
I think that has to be the least of your worries though, because I was brought up in the countryside, so we used to go out, find mushrooms, just eat them while you're walking along, like no big deal, because you learn over time what looks, you go like which one you have. It's not so much that, it's the whole fact of we eating them one day, my mum was like, don't eat that, you don't eat the dog's weed on it. And I'm like, from now on, I'm like,
did you not wash them then?
I'm a country bumpkin kid, we grew up in the mud. I was like, none of that
I've heard this
rubbish.
analogy so many times. It's like, where do you think all the vegetables you buy grow? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's no dogs
exactly.
running around there.
True. Not in a purpose-built greenhouse.
Helps my immune
No
system.
dog zone in
put it
this
that way.
field because there's carrots growing.
Yeah.
So-
It was quite interesting what you were saying about, going back to the sort of the stuff, the cooking that you do with the kids. Last summer I worked on the NCS, National Citizenship
Oh, did you?
Scheme.
Right, okay.
And one of the weeks where we're in like a uni setup is about, there's a day of like sort of like healthy eating and cooking.
Yeah.
And what we do is we had to give each of the young people, like they got like a £10 supermarket voucher.
Okay.
Or like on a card, and basically had to go and buy all their own ingredients. They had to plan their meals first,
Right.
design posters, break out in terms of like, that much is protein, that much is carbs, work out all the percentages of what they were creating, go and buy it all, and then come back and like cook it.
Right.
And then obviously
That's great.
we then had to taste it. So it was brilliant because some of the stuff they were coming up with, when you look at it, and a lot of them were doing a lot of fruit-based things.
Right, that's
which,
good.
bearing in mind, most of the week they were complaining about the food that we were getting sent in on the chuck wagons. It's like, well,
Not a tenner's worth
we
of
just
Jaffa
want
cakes, is it?
pizzas or chips or something. But yet they were then creating. But what was really interesting was not knowing what some of the vegetables and things were. So, I had somebody who picked up an iceberg lettuce and sort of said, or asked what it was.
Right.
So I was like,
Well, that's pretty basic as well, eh?
I know. Well, they thought it was a cabbage first of all.
Okay.
So I thought, actually, perhaps I can
That's defendable.
see where you're going with that one. But that's what I found quite enlightening, was like the lack of knowledge of what things looked like or what actually was what.
Yeah.
And I thought they'd changed that in schools these days and went through a lot of that now, but obviously...
I can't speak for schools. I know that, like, a lot of the time when I work with young people in the evenings, they, almost every week I bring something and they're like, what's that? And, like we made guacamole the other week and they were all like, oh God, what on earth is that? Like, oh. And then lo and behold, all the guacamole went by the time we made nachos and chili and whatever, put it all together and it's all right, that.
Yeah.
And so, but they'd never seen an avocado, and that's not particularly exotic these days.
No,
is
it's not, is it? It's every day.
Cooking in schools, though, is always like, let's make a scone. Let's make coleslaw. Let's make a pizza. It's like they don't really experiment.
No, I mean that's because a lot of the cooking is now home economics or whatever. Sorry, food technology these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's a curriculum, and a lot of it is around.
We learn about different parts of an egg.
Yeah, and also food safety stuff as well. It's not necessarily always about experimenting. I used to teach cooking in a secondary school before I did this job a few years ago, and it was when the wonderful Michael Gove was going to bring in the E-Baccalaureate, and it basically meant that the school was split, so they had a load of kids who were going to be academic enough to get 7 subjects, sort of English, maths, science, geography, and modern foreign language, and then there was a core of kids who just weren't, and so they were split, and that was the reality. And this core of kids were given to me and were part of their timetable to come and do cooking, but I was given the brief of just inspire them. So it was like, okay, we go to town on this, and we built pizza ovens, and I had them foraging around the school field and all sorts of stuff. And that was great, and I think that there needs to be more time for that in schools.
Definitely.
It really annoys me that now that the way that the curriculum is so focused on churning out results for exams and not creating human beings that are functional and kind of able to sort of think for themselves and try.
Were you a foodie when you were at school? Were you into cooking and everything like that, or was it when you were
10 years old?
Oh, really?
Really into cooking, but probably obviously more so as I got a little bit older.
It's like nowadays though. When I was younger, like the TV chefs, like Ainsley Harriott. It's always a kind of an awkward job. It wasn't something that people would aspire to. But now, like nowadays, the cooking shows that are out now, it's like Bake Off, the show Crazy Delicious, and some of the shows that are out there, they make it look cool, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
People, totally.
Yeah.
And also, I think the whole street food movement and the food porn movement, it's made people who, fine dining, pretty plates have no idea what that is. It's a piece of art. Is totally inaccessible to a lot of people. Whereas if you just see like something that just looks really naughty and like you want to stuff it in your face, then suddenly you've got a whole new audience interested in food.
Yeah. It's even the names of the books, isn't it? Because like, what's that? Thug Kitchen. When that one came out,
that's
so obviously
right.
that was trying to appeal to a different audience,
full
of swear words. So, but again, it's still getting people to cook, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
food trucks as well. Food trucks like the street food sort of thing. Like there's that chef. Is it Chef with? It's a movie done by what's his name? John Favreau.
Right.
And he basically goes from a fancy restaurant to making a taco truck, and
I've heard about this. I've not seen it.
It's a really good film.
Right.
It's a really, really good film. We went to this place in Birmingham. It's like a nightclub you go into, and it's like there is a bar, but all outside you just got food trucks everywhere.
Digworth Dining Club,
nice.
I think that's it. Digworth Dining Club, amazing. Yeah.
I mean, Digworth come to Shrewsbury as well.
Yeah.
They're here like once a month, I think, at Seven Social.
Wow.
So they move around, and that whole movement is, as I say, it interests a new type of foodie, I suppose, so a different type of food, and we can't all go out and eat fine dining or necessarily want to. And I think it's sort of dying off, really. It's not.
I remember.
But you can get some amazing street food.
Oh yeah,
that's I think sometimes far better than.
Yeah, I was going to say
A la
that.
carte.
You do, yeah, because you go to some of these fancy places. Like there's a place over near Church Stratton where a lot of people don't know about, and I can't remember what it's called. I have to tell you when I remember what it's called. But if you go there on a Tuesday or a Thursday, the chef there will basically cut the slice of meat your size, and he cooks it there in front of you like this massive joint of steak.
Right.
Everything that's like insane. You just pay for the weight of it, and it looks like a really, really fancy restaurant, but everything in there is like done fully rustically.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember what it's called, but stuff like that I think is really, really good, because that's something where it's coming away from the fine dining and bringing more of kind of like, it's not all about the beauty of the food, but it's more about what it tastes like and the enjoyment of it, isn't it? It's like all the things I bake look hideous, but as long as it tastes good, I'm fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When because my wife is Colombian, we when we go over to Colombia, that's a great food experience, because they encourage you to like the food trucks that are around Bogota. You buy your corn or whatever from there. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then we went up into the mountains, La Calera, I think it's called, and they got these just like barbecue huts where they'll just make you a big plate of like fried up chorizo and steak and the potatoes and the guacamole and stuff like that, and they'll give it to you, and you just sit outside in the mountains surrounding you eating this really rustic food. It's one of the most amazing experiences.
And that's what it's all about for me, like that kind of eating. And a lot of the events that I've done and have got planned for this year, that nearly all of them are about people coming together, sitting down, eating, sharing platters. You're never going to get a dressed plate of food from me ever, because it's just too personal. And I think I like to sort of encourage people to sort of share. And
so you coming wading onto this show with this idea that you've got, that's a very sexy way of cooking food, I've got to say. It must be like joy to them to see that, because the contestants, the three of you all had different ideas on things. Like Hannah was cooking with hay, and she's a real forager. You say to me, "Am I a forager?" I'd say I'm not. I'd say she is. She's all about wild food and interesting sort of flavors that maybe not tried before, which I interests me, but I wouldn't call myself. There's probably a line that
Yeah. She was definitely the forager on that show.
Yeah. What was it like meeting the chefs? Were you starstruck? Were you like?
Yeah, like a lot of people probably hadn't heard of Niklas here, but for me, he was a real sort of idol, because he's got a Michelin star restaurant over in Stockholm in Sweden, and he doesn't have any electricity or gas in his kitchen. He cooks with fire 100%.
Wow.
And so, Heston, whatever, mate. Like, I'm worried about this dude here. And but he turned out to be super nice. And I still chat to him on Instagram now. Really lovely bloke. But I didn't know what he'd be like. And so that was a bit nerve-wracking. And of course, it was scary, sort of carrying that first plate.
Especially Heston Blumenthal, he's so outspoken, isn't he? He speaks his mind. He's quite scary, I think, but he's a good chef.
He was pretty nice, though. Like, I mean, we didn't get to chat with them offset at all. I think maybe because they didn't want us to influence them, or for them to maybe have a favourite. Buy one of them a few too many rum and cokes at the end of the evening or whatever, and end up with a golden apple. None of that, that wasn't a possibility. So we only really got to chat on stage, or on set, sorry. But yeah, they all seem lovely, you know.
Yeah.
Let's be honest now about a few things. Like when Hardeep's egg failed, did you feel did you feel bad for him, or were you like, oh yeah, I'm in with a chance here?
You didn't get to see it, but I actually tried to help him with it.
Oh, really?
I went, yeah. I mean, that guy. We're still good pals now.
I felt so bad for him.
Bless him. He was so nervous. I mean, even in hotel in the morning before we left, we'd all sort of sit down for breakfast, and he was just sat on the sofa with his headphones on, like looking really frightened. And he's such a nice guy, and we all got on really well. I mean, I was speaking to Hannah after the show and said they've kind of edited that to make it look like that we've got a bit of beef, and we definitely don't. You know, we're going to. In fact, we're doing an event together in October. So you know,
that's
the whole point of like TV and editing now.
Yeah.
They want to create or make it look like there's conflict because that's what people seem to be unfortunately drawn to.
Yeah,
so
they do it like
it's like you watch Bake Off all for the drama, don't you? You watch it for people to fail, and it sounds horrible.
Yeah,
but you do, don't you? You kind of like go, oh my god, no.
So, hey, Margaret, get your eyes off my icing. It's mine.
Yeah.
How long did it take to film this then? Because obviously we only see an hour of it.
Yeah.
It was 3 days in total, but three 14-hour days. You know, long days. We picked up at 7 in the morning and back at 9.
Is it honest?
Don't do the maths, but I think that's about 14 hours.
So when they say you've got an hour or 2 hours go, did you actually have 2 hours? Did you have a limit?
Totally, yeah. That's real time. Like you know, you have the amount of time. And the first thing I did in the first round was cut my finger.
Oh no!
which lost me 5 minutes probably. Which I had room for in that round. The second round, that would have
ruined you.
Yeah.
You know, and probably at the end, I was running around like a headless chicken.
Did you guys know beforehand what the dishes were?
Yeah, we did. Pretty much. So I said, you know, they when they called me up, they said, "Will you come to London, meet us face to face?" But you're on. When I got there on the Monday, I was given my brief. So they said, "You've got your magic ingredient. You've got your, you know, the turn something on its head." And the magic ingredient, believe it or not, at that stage was potato.
What?
So I developed this potato recipe for nearly 3 weeks, and then the Tuesday before I was due to film, the executive producer rang me up and said, "Oh, we're really sorry, but we've changed it because we can't really forage potatoes very easily from the set. So we changed it to strawberries." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, because they're really similar, aren't they?" Nice one. Yeah, appreciate that.
Talk about talking chalk and cheese.
And I was literally, I just finished like a 12-hour shift in the youth club, and I had no gaps whatsoever in my time between finishing work and then going over to them, and so luckily I had these strawberry cheesecake chicken wings were already in the bag, you know, something I'd made before. So I was like, right, it's gonna have to be that then, and so that's why I ended up doing that dish, because I didn't have time to develop anything else.
You come up with some really interesting dishes, like we were talking about before you turned up about is it your peanut butter ice cream?
Yeah.
Is it deep fried?
Deep fried.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so it's deep fried ice cream. Again, they missed off quite a lot of the details, I think, just because you can't get everything in. But it was deep fried peanut butter ice cream with a blueberry and raspberry jelly on a sweet brioche bun, and then I made like a faux cheese with a white chocolate to go over the top as well. And I was, again, you talk about where do you get your ideas from.
Yeah.
So the deep fried ice cream comes from Cherie's Kitchen in Ironbridge. So it's a Thai place.
Oh, okay,
She used to run the King and Thai, and now she's got her own little thing, little pop-up. It's called Cherie's Kitchen. It's next to the White Hart.
Yep.
And she does deep fried ice cream for a dessert. And I was like, wow, that's good. And then I thought,
that sounds like something.
I could turn that into a burger. And then that's where that came from. And that was actually my other half who suggested, because I was trying to think of flavours. She's like, why don't you do peanut butter and jelly? And I was like, of course.
Yeah, because it's that's what everyone knows.
And obviously, it was a kind of American theme. Carla Hall, the one, the female judge there, she's a soul food expert. So I wanted it to be something to fit the rest of the brief, you know, with the mac and cheese and everything else.
Yeah.
So that's how that one came about. Yeah. It was,
Describe for us the feeling that goes through you when you stood there at the table and they got your wings and they're going and they're critiquing your food as they're eating it. How does that feel for you?
I mean, it was obviously nerve-wracking because as you're thinking this is going to be in front of a lot of people. If it goes wrong, then, you know, you look an idiot, don't you, frankly? But I actually was looking forward to having some honest feedback, you know, because a lot of the time I'm feeding people, friends, or wherever else, and you just always think, is it really is it really that good? You only really get to know how good your food is when complete strangers eat it, and so I don't have my own restaurant or anything, so I don't have the nightmare of TripAdvisor, and I generally get good feedback when I do the events I do. So, but a lot of the time that's friends or whatever, and because of course my food's delicious. But so it was for me. It was like, all right, let's see if you are any good.
So let's go for your dishes. The strawberry wings, they weren't too hot on, were they? They were kind of like, didn't taste the strawberry, that's what they were saying.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, I probably slightly missed the brief in that I think the problem there was that they really wanted me to showcase the strawberry, and maybe I didn't do that enough, and it's fair enough,
The show hot dogs, they devoured, they loved them, didn't they?
Yeah. But they were a nightmare for me. Yeah? I mean, we talk about sheep, I said we were going to come back to talk about sheep pastry. Yeah. Like, I'm not a baker, and I can make decent burger buns because I make them a lot, and a bit of sourdough and that. But choux pastry was the bane of my life, and the amount of kids who went home from youth clubs hungry because we tried to make them make eclairs in youth club as part of because I didn't have time to practice, so I was like, I know what we can do tonight. We'll make some eclairs, and then they were just flat and they were a nightmare. And on the day, I just smashed it.
You say that, it's like I can do a choux pastry, but I can't do anywhere near some of the things that you can do. Right. So you got that. So I got choux pastry, and that is it. I have nothing else.
Well, I think I got it now, but I vowed I was never going to make it again after that day because I just had so many disasters with it. The rest of it. I mean, the other part was that for that dish was the sauce, which again completely didn't even get mentioned in the description, which was a bit upsetting because it took me 3 weeks to develop the sauce that was on the top, which was a beef reduction with the chocolate chipotle flavour through it.
Oh, nice.
And then, so it was sort of like, sort of chocolatey, savoury with the smoked chilli in there as well. Yeah. And then had to sort of stabilise it so that when I squeezed it out of the bottle, it would sit like a chocolate sauce and not just be super runny, but like a gravy would be. So that took me a lot of work, and then it didn't even get mentioned in the description. So I was just like, cheers for that. But
it must be really hard for them to squeeze it all in because, like you said, there's like 3 courses, 3 people to describe what's going on, and an hour to do it, and then there's the adverts and stuff like that. And then there was the birthday meal, the lobster and macaroni cheesecake, which looked amazing. The smoked tomahawk, that was a massive piece of meat.
That was a nice piece of meat.
Did you forage that from the garden? There's just a cow there.
I came off the range.
I cooked 2 of those, and one of them went missing.
Really?
Oh. Yeah. It just disappeared off the set.
Hardy.
Really?
Like, where's that other piece of meat? It's gone.
How was that final course for you? Because that was obviously the winner.
Yeah. To be honest with you, because the first round didn't go so well. Other than the chips, they love the chips. I was really nervous. I mean, the other 2 had said all the way through, "Oh, you're super chilled," and then they saw that course come up, and I was like white because I'd had so many disasters, and there's so many elements. There's like 5. I was making my own sausages. I was making the choux pastry, the chocolate sauce, and then 3 different, the 2 creams and a smoked tomato salsa. So in an hour and a half, there's a lot to do. So once I got that out of the way and was through to the final, I was like, whew, this is stuff I'm actually comfortable with now. I can cook a steak all day long. I've made this mac and cheese cake, which collapsed for the first time in my life.
I was going to say, you can see the stress on your face when that happened.
All that happened there was that I'd cooked my buns for the ice cream burger, and I timed everything perfectly. So as soon as they came out, the mac and cheese cake went in. But I was supposed to turn the oven up to 210, so to create a crust on the outside, and I left it at 170 for the first 15 minutes. So that never happened. So, I could show you photos of the original where you get this kind of crispy Parmesan crunch around the outside, which wasn't there. So that's why that collapsed. But
Hardeep's was pretty amazing as well.
Oh, unbelievable! And the flavours that were just, he's a talented dude. He really is.
So do you think the winner for you was the hot dogs? Do you think that kind of pipped you towards victory at the end?
I'd say so. Yeah. I mean, that was skin of my teeth, really.
I want to know where this golden apple is.
It's on my mantelpiece.
I wanted it on my Instagram. Well disappointed.
It's been paraded around my stepdaughter's primary school the next morning, bless her, like the Olympic torch. But it's on the mantelpiece now. It's Yeah, it's an interesting piece. I'll probably get yourself one from B&M, I reckon.
Yeah, I'll just make one. It'll be fine. I remember when you were on because I had it in my phone to watch it, and I totally forgot about it. I was just sitting on the sofa, and then I had a text off my mum saying Channel 4, and I put it on, and I was like, I did not tell my mum that, because this is when I already knew you were coming on here.
Right.
I was like, I didn't tell my mum that Adam was coming on the show or anything like that. I was watching, and she was like, oh, this is amazing. I thought you'd like this show. And I was like, yeah, well. I was like, thanks for reminding me there. I was like, that was a really awkward but really good save at the same time. But yeah, but I think it was very popular. Like, a lot of people were talking about it. All my friends watched it as well.
Right, oh good.
And yeah, I think it's going to be something that really gets you. This is another thing I want to ask you. Where did the name Shropshire Lad come from?
So when we first, the reason that I started I mean, you asked about how I started cooking, but how I've started to showcase stuff and was because one of my friends likes eating my food, and he also likes making videos, and he was like, should we just try making some videos for YouTube?
Yeah.
And we were like, I was like, yeah, okay. We'll. So I made this video. My first video was basically it was cooked in my dad's kitchen, rolled leg of lamb with wild garlic, butter, and a few other bits. And so we made this video, and we're like, right, what are we going to call it? And so we just sat around, and I don't know, it just came about really. He was like, oh, you're a bit of a lad, and we need to sort of showcase what's going on around here. And I don't know, we just thought, and I quite like the beer as well. You know?
Yeah.
I was thinking that one day maybe I'll get some free beer from Woods.
I thought you named yourself after the pub from Malins Lee. Shropshire Lad.
Yeah, I remember that. No, that wasn't named after the pub. I don't really know that. We debated for a little while a few names, and it just seemed to
I think
work.
it's a very
It
good
rings,
one.
doesn't it?
Yeah,
It rings
is,
really well. Yeah.
I've got to say though, during the show, and this is no disrespect to Hannah, but when Hardeep went through and Hannah didn't, I kind of shouted at the TV. I was like, "Whoa!" Because his egg failed, and I just thought maybe she'd been a bit more consistent. But I was like, "Wow, fair play to the guy."
Yeah, I mean, one thing I learned on that show was that really the presentation wasn't a problem. Like,
all about the flavour.
It's all about all they cared about was the flavour, and I think that with Hannah's hot dog. When she said she was doing tamper bread, I've never in my life tasted good tamper bread, ever. It's something that Boy Scouts do. Yeah. And so I was thinking, all right, okay, well, if you can pull this off, fair enough, because it just tastes like horrible dough. Yeah. Like whenever I've tried it, I mean, I don't know what she did with hers. And then using wild boar, risky, because it does dry out quite a lot. Unless you use there's a guy, Shropshire Wild Boar Company, just out of Badger. Yeah. He grows them to like 150 kilos, and they're like 50% fat. So she maybe should have got some from him because it's incredibly fatty. But generally, it's Nicholas said it's quite dry, and then I believe that. She was encouraged to do that. She cooked it again on the little tabletop grill, which was provided by Chef's Lucker from Shrewsbury. Yeah, just drop that one in there. Oh, cheers, Ed. So the little tabletop grill, and obviously to create that ambiance of cooking around a campfire, probably dried it out even further. Yeah. But it must have been, because she won the first round. Yeah. So it must have been. Not great, unfortunately.
That would have been a big kickback, wouldn't it?
The next round, how long did they leave you waiting to find out who won? How long did you have to wait for?
Not really that long. No, because it was by the time they announced it, it was about 8:30 in the evening. We'd been in the studio since 7:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And they had to strip that set for the next day, something else was happening. So overnight, that set was just dismantled by a huge team of people who were waiting to go. So it was all quite quick, really. We had maybe, in real time, I don't know what it was because it's all a bit surreal. But I think from them coming down and trying all of our food to disappearing off again, maybe half an hour.
Oh, okay, so not long.
It was pretty quick.
And what was it like when they announced you as the winner? I guess you were elated.
Yeah, I was really pleased. Yeah. I mean, you go on to win, don't you? You don't want to. I mean, at least to get to the final. I would have been devastated to have gone out first.
Yeah. And then was it awkward for you guys? I don't know if there was a green room or something where you guys met. Was it awkward afterwards? You're right. Everybody happy for each other.
I mean, Hannah had gone home the day before so the way it worked, you did it. The first day was just interviews in the green room. Second day was the 2 challenges, and then the third day was the final. Okay. So Hannah wasn't there for the final. me and Hardy had developed a bit of a friendship by then. So, we were just chatting and we went back to the hotel and just, had a hug before we went to bed. And not in bed, but, But yeah, he's a good guy. We still chat a lot. So there's no animosity at all.
When it aired, did you have loads of people messaging you?
Oh, it was ridiculous. I was doing dry January.
Yeah.
So I was dry and vegan. But that night, I wasn't dry. Let's just say I wasn't dry that night. And I was just like, I'm not even looking at my phone until this is done.
Yeah.
And then I was on it until about 1 a.m.
I kind of know I was at Super Bowl at the weekend, and I was at Hickory's, and because I drove and because I'm on keto, I couldn't really drink anything. So while everybody's getting sloshed, I'm sat there with a cup of coffee at the bar. I felt like a serial killer, just staring at people with coffee.
What description?
So coffee drinkers.
The guy behind the bar was even like, he's starting hard, are you? And I was like, leave me alone. No. Yeah, it's quite cool. So what happens for you now? Have you had lots of interest in your cooking skills? The hot dogs you could pan, couldn't you?
Yeah, I'd quite like to do something where I would like to put those chicken wings out to people because I still stand by them, and the chips. Yeah. I'd really like to do that because no excuses. They didn't like it. But the crew devoured them. I mean, there's a photo I've got of Jade, the producer, getting through one pretty quick, and I really stand by them. But also they've been sat around for an hour before they ate them. Everything's Yeah. So I'd like to put those out to people and just say, am I crazy or
I'm sure there's a few restaurants.
I was going to say there's festivals coming up though.
I've got a few events coming. The next one is going to be I'm going to be announcing it officially this week, but it's going to be at the Evolution Brewery.
Okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I'm doing an 8-course beer snack tasting menu with a beer flight of their beer. So it was a great idea because I said they approached me and said, "Do you want to do something?" I was like, "Right, yeah." So I need to try all of your beers. So that I can then decide what flavours work with what, and so that's going to be coming out. Hopefully, I'll announce that this week. We're just crossing the T's and dotting the I's on that at the moment. Another exciting one. We're going to be taking over a well-known pizza restaurant in town with all my young people from the youth club.
Wow, that's great.
So we're literally they're going to run the front of house
in Shrewsbury
in Shrewsbury. They're going to design the menu. You can probably guess which one it is, but we'll wait.
Yeah.
They're going to design the menu, they're going to run the kitchen, and whatever they make that night, the restaurant are allowing, after their expenses, that will go towards those young people's summer activities that we run.
Oh, fab.
Can we come?
Yeah, well, we're open to book, it'll just be first come, first serve. We're not going to have it just rolling in because obviously we need to know numbers, really.
Yeah.
I don't want to force.
I think that'd be quite
It's going to be hard for young people as it is. So they're the next two things I've got on the agenda. Which will be, in the next 2 months.
Are you going to make an appearance at the food festival?
Yeah, the food festival's going to be massive this year. We've got the fire stage, which is now right in the middle of the food festival. And we've also got the barbecue competition, which is so that's separate to it. So competition barbecue is like another world compared to
that's that whole great big long one, isn't it, where they're all there.
That's right. Yeah. We've got 2 years ago was when I always wanted. So I don't know if you know Joe Allwood, Smoking Salad. We have a Shropshire barbecue team who he's been to the States and he won like fifth best burger in the world at the World Food Championships and stuff. Might be worth getting him on at some point. But he's basically, from talking to him 2 years ago, we sort of said we'd love to get a barbecue, official, because you can have official barbecue competition. You have to have the IBQN or Kansas City Barbecue Society as kind of the awarding body, if you like. So there's real standards and it's high. And the first year we had a team called, I forget their name now. Oh God, it's gone.
It's amazing.
Anyway, they won the world challenge. It's Ed and Emma Gash. They're a married couple who swept the board at Shrewsbury and then went on to win the American Royal, which is like the World Cup. So basically, they beat everybody in America at barbecue. British couple.
That's got kind of been a kick.
Yeah, so they're coming this year to do demonstrations and show people how to build their own smokers and all sorts of stuff. So we've got a really, really exciting lineup. So we've got some great sponsors on board. And it's going to be mega this year.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of in the middle of organising all of that at the moment as well.
You're going to be there on both days?
I'll be there. I'm hosting the stage, so cool. I'll probably be doing a few demos.
I saw that
as well.
Yeah.
And I'll probably last year I did on the Friday night as a bit of a fringe festival. I did a fire feast for 40 people, which was a ticketed event, which will probably resurrect again as well.
Yeah.
But I need to sort of speak to the organisers just to check that that's still a goer.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? Because it gets really. I'm going to have to. Darren, if you're listening to this, I'm only going to work one of the days in the gym bar.
In fact, Darren was there last year and provided some of the cocktails for that one. So
I imagine. So, I mean, congratulations for winning that show. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Because not only has it got you out there, you're a good influence on young people and the food culture.
Oh, thanks.
So what that's done is it's raised you as a platform and what you bring to it. So I think it's really important. To the county and to the country. I mean,
it's brilliant.
Teaching young people how to cook good food and feel good about it is awesome. I'm all for that. So
thank you. Yeah, I mean, there's actually a national cooking competition which is being rolled out at the moment. Who asked me? So I've been doing some demos in some schools. I'm over in Bishop's Castle tomorrow, doing a demonstration and a talk there, and inspiring some young people to get involved in competition at that level. And that's all about local ingredients and seasonal stuff as well. So I've done some demos this week and last week and it's like doing it in January again is quite difficult, but thinking about how to inspire young people to think to use ingredients that are local and think about air miles and all the rest of it, but also cook something that they're interested in. So we did like Kentucky Fried Cauliflower because I was doing my veganuary, and all of a sudden a big plate of cauliflower was devoured by a load of 13-year-olds. Like, right, because it looks like chicken wings.
It doesn't look like cauliflower.
Deep fry it in a spicy batter, and they'll have it.
This is a pre-innuendo warning, but I would love to try one of your hot dogs.
Well, the sausages are on sale at Morgan's Country Butchers now, because I actually had a sausage lesson from those guys. They're my, I use them for everything. They become my friends now. And I went there for a sausage game of innuendo bingo. Darren's terrible.
It was a sausage fest. Okay.
Yeah, but they taught me how to make those sausages, and so obviously once it had gone out, they've now put them on the counter. So if you want to try the sausage, and then maybe you can make some choux pastry.
There we go.
And, you're halfway there.
Adam's like, I'm not touching it again. Not doing it.
I ain't doing it.
You can't have the pastry though.
Oh yeah, you can't have it. You can watch me eat
it. You can have the sausage.
Or you can do one of your
although there is some
keto
rust in the sausage, so I don't know if you're allowed it.
The way I'm eating hot dogs at the moment, because hot dogs are keto, is it's really
just the dog.
So you buy the thick hot dogs, and you cut the hot dog in half, and then you put the salsa through the middle of the hot dog and some cheese. Yeah. So you don't have the bun.
You're really desperate for a hot dog.
No.
So you get finding hot dogs without any rusk in them, are you?
No.
You get them out.
I don't think you're allowed that on keto.
Don't tell him that.
I haven't dropped out. Do you know what? Actually, we had a cheat day on keto, which I found out you're not really supposed to do.
No, because you come out ketosis, don't you?
Yeah, but I didn't come out of ketosis, which is really. I just had a Chinese.
Amazed.
What's ketosis?
Ketosis is when your liver is clear of any sort of carbs. So it's not fighting carbs; it's creating ketones.
You should have seen how much food
ketosis.
He ate so much. He sent us all a picture.
It was the biggest Chinese ever.
But it was my one day of the month.
And a whole bottle of whiskey.
How did you not come out ketosis? I will never know.
How's that keto?
Three quarters of a bottle of whiskey. Hey man, whiskey's keto friendly. It's fine. I can drink as much whiskey as I want.
And I did. From the start.
Are you allowed sugar then?
No sugar.
So there's loads of sugar in whiskey, isn't there?
No.
You're getting burned today. You are. Zero carbs. You have to come on every show now. Every time he talks about ketosis, we're like, yeah.
Okay, this is going to sound quite gross, but every 2 days I got these strips and I test my wee for ketones, and I haven't dropped out of ketosis, so I've dropped nearly 2 stone as well, so I'm doing all right. It's good
work, nice.
But yeah, I do like crave like burgers and stuff like that. But like a good thick, not like a McDonald's crap. I like a proper.
Yeah. Oh, so that's dripping as you're eating it.
Oh, that sort of stuff.
Yeah. You can still have them. You just don't have the bun.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I made one of those at the weekend after veganuary and felt very ill after.
I imagine.
I wasn't ready for it.
Even though I didn't drop out of ketosis, I was quite ill the next day after the Chinese. My stomach was like, what have you done to us?
I mean, that wasn't the whiskey.
It was both. Do you want to give a shout out to anybody that sort of supplied you with things locally and give you ideas? I mean, I know you shouted out Morgan's Butchers, but anywhere else?
Yeah, also Stitch Farm Studios. They provided my plates and the unbelievable piece of oak. I served my finished, the final. What's it called?
Tomahawk.
The tomahawk and all that.
Yeah.
Was on their slab there.
Oh wow!
And they make the most stunning equipment. If you haven't seen Stitch Farm stuff,
Where are they based?
just out sort of like near Leabot Wood Way.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Amazing. Jill, who makes the crockery, she's just supplied Ottolenghi with the book, the plates for his entire new book. So she's up there, it's pretty swanky stuff. Yeah,
nice,
gorgeous.
nice. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
No worries. Thank you. It's been a
brilliant.
pleasure.
Have you guys got anything to add? Anything you want to ask Adam before we
I have
sign
one
off?
question.
Yep.
What is this is not what you've cooked, but what's the strangest thing you've ever eaten?
It's got to be what they call a 1,000-year egg.
Oh, right. Okay, that sounds grim.
Oh, that's horrible.
Go on.
And eaten and drank. I went out to Vietnam a couple of years ago. I got one of my best mates lives out in Da Nang, and he said, "Right, we're going to take you to this off-grid rice wine bar." So we went with this taxi, and the taxi pulls up, and then the taxi couldn't get anywhere near this place. You had to go to all these cobble streets, and got to basically someone's house.
Yeah.
And you go in, and there was if you go onto my Facebook actually and go back through my videos, there's live videos of me in there, and you'll be able to see all of this. But it's basically all these weird and wonderful animals inside jars that are rice wine. So you can try it. You can have all snakes' balls or whatever with the rice wine. But then they serve food as well, and they got this black eggs. So they're fermented eggs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then inside it's like the yolk goes all gelatinous and stuff. And it wasn't quite as bad as I thought it would be.
Because I've seen people
still
eat before
pretty
and
bad.
they look horrendous.
They do look horrendous. I don't eat eggs anyway, never mind.
To eat those.
Right.
And on the same trip as well, I possibly ate dog. The dog sausage.
Yeah.
But only I was driving through Cambodia up into the north on a motorbike, and then we were hit by this kind of huge sort of, what do you call it, like a thunder, rainstorm.
Hurricane.
That's what I'm looking for, a hurricane, rainstorm. So we dived in, as you do, to the nearest shack, and everybody seems to be cooking something or doing something.
Something really weird, yeah.
And there was these bright red sausages on the barbecue, and I was like, oh yeah, they look all right. So absolutely no English, so it's all kind of charades. But I had this sausage, and it was just a bit grainy and a bit strange textured, and it was very strongly spiced, and almost like it had kind of sweet chili through it as well. So I was sort of like, what is this? What is this? Pointing at it, and they just pointed at the dog and started laughing.
Oh no!
I was like, oh man, I was thinking dog sausage here, possibly, but we'll never know.
That's the thing, isn't it? Because if it's highly spiced as well,
exactly,
you never know,
and you can never tell.
Who was this?
When I went to Cambodia, and we stopped in Sukhao, which is quite a famous sort of it's a truck stop where they take all the tourists,
right?
And they do deep fried tarantula.
Oh.
Right.
But the kids are walking around with a live tarantula, they wear them like brooches, and they come up to the tourists going like that, scaring them. But what they said was that they go, oh, nice one, that's what we need. They dig them out of the ground, they take the fangs out of them, and they got them in this big white bucket with a wok on top where they've been and they chuck loads of chili and garlic in it.
Did you try one?
It was the only thing. I've had a real live one on my hand, but I couldn't eat. The only thing I ate was one of the crickets. But I couldn't bring myself to eat a tarantula. I just thought it was all the hairs was.
I think the sad thing about all that kind of cuisine in Cambodia is the Pol Pot regime, and the reason they had to eat things like tarantulas to survive, and they're driven out into the jungle. And I've got a good friend who lives out there in Phnom Penh, and he's got a friend who runs a little baguette shop who's he's seen half his family butchered in front of him and stuff. And to think it was only 35 years ago.
I went to
it's horrendous.
School and it wasn't. Yeah,
I've never eaten
awful.
anything exotic like that. I've had lechona, which is where they get the pig, and the dead pig, they shove it full of rice, and then they barbecue it, and then they break open the pig, and you have the pork and the rice together, and it's actually quite nice.
Right, I can imagine that.
It sounds gross, but it's actually really,
It doesn't
really
really
nice.
That sounds
gross.
alright.
I
And
think
they
it's
have
alright.
this, like they serve it like in like on the side of the roads, things like that. Or you
Yeah.
can get them in a restaurant if you want to be fancy.
It's in Colombia, yeah?
Yeah, in Colombia,
Yeah, right.
it's really good, and you see the pig lying there, and it's just chest caved in, and then you just get the rice and a bit of pork. It's quite good.
Right.
But you know,
That
I'm quite
actually
picky.
sounds
That's all right. That's just pork and rice, isn't it?
Yeah, I know,
I know
cool,
what
though,
you're
to
saying.
be
It's how they
honest.
do it, but then it's how they do a whole roast, isn't it?
Well, listen, let's sign off because we've got Bob the
Drilling.
Builder behind us. Guys, thank you very much for listening to this episode. I want to give a shout out to our sponsors, Gin Different. Make sure you go on their Instagram and Facebook, follow them, go to the bar, try buy some gins. They get you gins from all over the place, can't you?
Yep.
And make sure you check out our website. It's www.theshrewsburybiscuitpodcast.co.uk. That's made for us by our friends at Web Orchard. And how can people find you, Adam?
Instagram is Shropshire.lad. Someone got Shropshire Lad before me. Adam Purnell, Shropshire Lad on Facebook, YouTube, Shropshire Lad. And my website's www.shropshirelad.co.uk.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Peace out, guys.